Before we kind of review your own personal story and we get to some of that other stuff, I did want to ask you, you and I were both attending the Symposium for Metabolic Health 2025 in San Diego. And I always like to kind of do little mini reviews of particular conferences that we've been to. So I just want to ask you, like, how was your experience? How did you find the conference? I know last year you attended virtually. You weren't able to come to San Diego, which was quite the schlep for you anyway. But yeah, how did it compare this year to last year being in person? You were definitely very busy, I could tell you that. But how did you find the conference?
I thought it was another outstanding conference. I love the Low Carb USA and Society of Metabolic Health Practitioners symposiums. They have been doing these for a long time. This was the 10th annual symposium in San Diego, and it was great. And beyond the excellent presentations, which, as I mentioned before this program, I didn't get to focus as sharply on the presentations in person because I was multitasking, doing a lot of work for Low Carb USA during the conference. But I will have the chance to go back and listen to the recordings, which I sometimes listen to some of these recordings 2 or more times, or at least parts of them. There's so much good stuff in there, and one of the things I love about the conference is interacting and engaging with other people, both practitioners, lay people, coaches, you name it, eating dinners, under the stars, beautiful weather of San Diego, and having a great low carb meal while just talking about, careers and specific things that happened during the day, and just catching up with people like yourself. I had the chance to interview you for a brief segment, which was great. But I got to talk to so many people at the conference, Dr. Brian Lenskis, Dr. Ben Bokikio, who I'll be interviewing tomorrow for a live stream. And it goes on and on. I mean, there's just so many people that I haven't seen in a while, and catching up is great.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the networking is super fun, catching up with people that we've, talked to or met virtually, get to meet in person, or other people that we don't get a chance to hang out with very much. I mean, Roshani Singhani came from literally around the world, as far away as you could get from San Diego, from Mumbai, India, and she had to travel back, and that's quite the schlep for her. But she made it 2 times in a row, and her and I have chatted on the show before, like how empowering it is to get in a room full of like-minded people who are all trying to understand this kind of stuff and move a message forward. It's pretty powerful. I really like that part of it as well, the socializing and getting to catch up with everybody while we're there.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned Rashani. I loved her presentation, and I had the opportunity to speak to her a couple of months prior to the conference, and I love her take on various aspects of coaching, including motivational interviewing. And I had the opportunity to listen to her a few years back, and she really made a mark on me. And so I love being able to just catch up and try to improve my knowledge. As you mentioned, I'm now working as a health coach, a metabolic health coach in the Ovadia Heart Health telemedicine practice, something that I really never dreamed of doing years ago. In fact, 10 years ago, I was certainly not in a position to coach anybody on anything related to lifestyle. And first, I took care of a lot of the aspects of my own life, and then I got really curious about what it is that what are the things, the ingredients that go into taking control of your lifestyle and your health and your fitness. And it's really kind of consumed a lot of my life for the last 7 years. And so now getting the opportunity to coach other people, and I enjoy helping other people, but I've also found that it's a huge personal learning experience. Every day is I try to see what I can take away from every interaction that I have. And the 4 or 5 days at San Diego was a very deeply immersive and very rewarding experience.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, all of us were looking forward to Dave Feldman's presentation of the Keto CTA trial, additional AI learnings that came from that trial, preliminary results. Dr. Adrian Sotomoda gave an amazing presentation related to that as well. There were lots of very technical and medical centric kind of presentations, a lot of stuff around neuroscience on that first day. And that's all great. And we're all learning that stuff. And it's amazing. And you're talking about the coaching aspect and Rashani's presentation in particular. Like none of that other technical stuff matters if you and I as coaches can't help the people that we coach to remain motivated and to continue working to a goal. Like if I can't cross that bridge and I'm just talking at somebody, telling them all the ways that I know more than them about different things and telling them the ways they should change their life and you need to do this and that and the other. Like if I can't cross that run bridge, it doesn't matter what I know about keto, CTA, and lean mass hyperresponders and whether LDL cholesterol is causative of heart disease and some of these other technical things. And so I just, her presentation just always, it's very similar to what she did last year. This year was a little bit more practical and she made people pair up and actually run through the practice. And it's so helpful. I told her after the presentation, and I'm just thinking back, like even in that 1 week when I was guilty of doing that, like somebody that I did a consult with, and I think, oh, like I know where they can improve, and I tell them how they can improve. And it's like, idiot, like you're not following the right thing to make that person be motivated to want to improve. And so for all the wonderful presentations, hers always stands out to me because it's so helpful, not just for coaching, but even just like simple human communication.
Yeah, I've learned so much just by constantly having these conversations like what we're having right now. I've learned about the importance of listening, and not just talking. And it doesn't just go for coaching. I mean, like when you have the opportunity to be face to face with someone who has a lot of knowledge and a lot of understanding of science or behavioral science or whatever the case may be, um, you know, I know I used to spend a lot more time talking and thinking about what I was going to say next. And um, just, I've learned that listening, especially when you're a coach, sometimes the patient or the client will tell you the solution to their problem, and they don't even realize that they have it. And that's magic for me. I mean, when they tell me the solution, and I just have to ask a question or maybe help them rephrase it, and all of a sudden I could see the light go on in their eyes, like I knew it all along. I just didn't know the, you know, some of the nuance or the context. Um, and then, you talk about the science of a presentation of a symposium like this. There is a lot of high level science, and people will go into the weeds and nitpick over little details, and that can be very important at times. Some of these details are important for larger societal populations, but we have to remember that there's nuance and context and individuality, and some of that stuff doesn't matter to the individual so much as a specific, there might be some little thing that they're not doing or not realizing, or a question they're not asking. And so anyway, we have to just find the nuance, find the context, and help people find the plan that addresses their individual needs.
Yeah, I love that, man. And again, you were very busy. So if I'm putting you on the spot, I apologize. One of my other favorite presentations was Belinda Fettke's presentation about the blue zones. It was so wonderful to get to meet her, to talk about a schlep to get there. She came from Tasmania, not exactly around the corner. And she gave a wonderful presentation. The blue zones have been kind of a pet passion of mine, and bashing the concept has been one of my favorite things to do over the years on this show. Did you get to catch much of her presentation? And if so, was there anything that you remember learning for the first time that you didn't know about the blue zones? Again, I know this is really putting you on the spot. You were
No,
very
no.
busy.
I did have the opportunity to talk to Belinda Fettke at the conference, and I've interviewed both her and Gary Fettke in the past. And some of the things that she talked about in the presentation, she's been working on for a long time. So I'm fascinated. I don't remember exactly when I learned what, but yeah, it's an example of, you know, some a group of people has an agenda, and they want to push their agenda, and they sometimes will mold the so-called facts around their agenda. And sometimes you find out that the facts aren't really facts, or there's circumstances that make those facts misleading. Certainly the idea of groups of people without birth certificates, and then ultimately having, and there's so much of it. I mean, there's religious reasons why people want to push forward certain dietary patterns and so forth. I find it fascinating, um, and I'm always interested in learning about the reasons why things happen. And I try not to invest myself too much in some of that history when it comes to the individual things. I mean, like um, I was, I was never once I found a low carb diet, there's no temptation for me to go back to eating a plant-based diet, which I did for a long time. And I don't really care what some religion says about, what I should eat or shouldn't eat. I've kind of found what works, but I am fascinated by what influences our decisions and societal norms and what gets pushed, what gets included in guidelines, what doesn't, what you're allowed to say, what you're not allowed to say, and how sometimes factors that have nothing to do with your well-being are being pushed forward as something that you need to do for your health. And so I do very much appreciate the work that she's done.